So
Go live.
Flying?
What?
You're chasing rainbows? What happened?
Vera's at Randy Rainbow.
Who the hell
Randy
is that?
Rainbow.
I don't know, someone?
Comedians?
Comedian?
Or
Comedian? I don't know.
Name's Randy Rainbow?
She ain't here. That's all we know.
Is this thing on?
Rainbow.
Randy Rainbow.
Vera is in absentia, so if someone could tell us who Randy Rainbow is,
Could you pull a
we
photo
will
up?
know. We'll know. We'll know. You know.
Is it like
Nice.
somebody like? Should we know who it is?
I don't know.
Not-
I have
not
no
my
idea
name.
who the fuck that is. No.
I don't know. I think we're live on
I think-
Instagram.
It makes sense if you're
Yeah, I
like, no,
think so.
obviously it's got to be a fruitcake, right? Because it's Randy
Yeah.
Rainbow.
Randy Rainbow. It does suggest a certain amount of homosexuality. Yes, that is correct.
Yeah, it sounds like a homosexual.
So, yeah, you're homosexual. You're homosexual. You're homosexual. One person who's not homosexual is our returning champ. Hello, Tim. You're back in the building, boy. How you doing?
Yeah. From literally from January 15th, Martin Luther King Monday, till February 15th, I was dead to the world. I tested negative for COVID multiple times, negative for the flu multiple times, but I lost 10 pounds, couldn't eat, couldn't breathe, sore throat, the whole nine, and lost my voice for like a week and a half, and it was miserable. I was miserable. But miraculously, I went to Florida this weekend for my grandmother's 90th birthday, and the warm Florida air dried me right up. So feeling better this week. So trying to get back on the horse.
That's really weird because you usually come away with Florida with a disease.
Yeah, right. Especially when you're with my family for that long. But no, came back healthier. So.
Well, that's good. That's exciting. We're glad to have you back on board. With
yeah.
Vera's been just looking around, going, "We've got no one to fight with."
Yeah.
She's got Christina. They
She
were
got
fighting.
Christina just lost her nana last week. That was great. It was a good time last week.
I did over the kidney.
You did over at Kidney. See, and that's why you were here. I was like, "Where's Tim when we need him?" But Christina fought back on your behalf. It was very admirable.
Yeah, good.
She was.
I guess it was
coming out swinging, weren't you, Christy? What's going on with you, girl? You living, you're dreaming,
living the life. Living a nightmare, not dreaming.
Living a life. Living a life, anyway.
Yeah, it's not. I don't know whose life it is. It's somebody's got to come get these kids. I don't know when their parents are coming home, and I don't know when my mom's coming back home either because I'm exhausted. So it's like somebody's got to start taking care of me.
Sometimes you've got to wonder, like, when did we decide that being adults was okay? Oh, you're the true voice of reason. There we go.
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much.
I'm like,
it's because you're exactly tonight.
Yeah. My childhood self would be like, what you doing? What you doing with this life? What you doing?
Yeah.
I'm interested. What has happened here? What's going on?
My childhood life kid self would be like, oh, we're so disappointed in you.
Oh, you're a mom now? Put your mom jeans on, Mom. Oh, God.
What happened to you? It's actually really funny. I do have 2 minutes. I actually got a phone call today from somebody that I used to work with. He was my old supervisor, my old manager. And I hadn't seen him or talked to him in, I think, 6 years. Maybe. I don't even know when I got married. 2018 was that. That's 6 years. So when he called, he's like, "Hi, I'm so-and-so." And I go, "So-and-so?" I like freaked out. And he's an older man, you know, he was like the dad of the group or like more like of a grandpa basically, but just the sweetest old man. I missed him so much. It was so nice to talk to him and catch up. But it was like, you know, again, like better times when I didn't have so many responsibilities when he was my manager and we had such a good time. He's like, so is this person here? Is this? I'm like, no. Half the group that we used to be isn't there anymore, and I miss it. I was like, I don't know how I got here. How did I get here? But
how it ended up this way. What a scene.
yeah.
Hi, Jeff.
Oh, we had a show
Jeff.
called that.
Remember we had a show
I can
called
never remember the damn name. How we ended up
this way.
This way. Yeah. Oh, go check it out if you're bored. You can go on YouTube. There's a whole folder or something. It's like put together. There's episodes of this thing. And
we got a playlist.
Like Jenny Petlin when her book came out. And she talks about her childhood and what it was like being raised by Roseanne Barr. It's fascinating.
Yeah, it's an interesting read.
Wow.
What's your book going to be called, Jeff?
Am I dead yet?
That's a positive and happy message.
I'm ready. Like,
yeah, see, mine was going to be.
I woke up again. Oh, what?
Oh dear.
Is it done? Am I done?
How about I'm still alive?
Oh, like
I made it.
Is this pause?
I thought for sure it was going to be what happened was. Jeffrey Evans.
Yeah.
No.
We have a show called What Happened Was too, which I'm trying to resurrect. I'm just going to get my co-hosts together and ready. They're just busy people.
I was actually just talking to somebody I hadn't caught up with in a while, and I was like, I can't wait to get with you because they've been traveling. She was just in Paris. I'm like, I can't wait to tell you about the sub shop. I'm like, because it really is like an everyday real life episode of Jerry Springer. Like the shit that goes
Somebody
on.
jump across the counter?
Like it is absolute pandemonium constantly.
You had a thief?
Well, I mean, the last time I saw you, I think a girl had shit herself behind the counter. So, I mean, I'm tuning in.
Nobody shit themselves on a counter. That did not happen.
Behind the counter.
Right. The customer's going to be like, I'm never going there. That did not happen. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Lord. Well, I'm like, I can't share anything from the show anymore because somebody's going to connect it and they're going to go back and hear stories and be bitching about customers and it's all over with. That's it. We're done.
Yeah, that's it.
Like, oh.
Canceled.
Yeah, that's it. Can't do it.
It's a busy life. It's a busy life, but it's okay. We persevere. We persevere. We push forward.
Onward.
Ever forward.
Onward and upwards. Into the ever-loving bosom of Katrina H. Johnson, we must go.
All right.
Because it is time for this week.
Hot load of hot topics.
Shimmying for justice and shimmying for the world peace and hunger and all that
We have a new clip of that. Yeah.
We do. We have a HG clip. We'll have to get onto that one day.
Of what?
Katrina and Vera.
Katrina
No,
doing
Katrina. I didn't do it.
I'll do it. Look, she's gonna fight me about it.
Was she redo it?
No.
A couple of weeks ago.
Online.
Flashback in the memory. Flashback.
I don't think you were here, man.
She was on the live show.
She was on. I wasn't on.
Oh, maybe you were.
She was on 2 weeks in a row, I think.
Yeah, my last week she was here when Luke hosted because Steve was traveling.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that was the last time I was
think
here.
I was there.
Oh,
yeah, we thought the Tesla roof was a fake.
No, that was after that. That was after that because I hosted from a Tesla a couple of weeks ago. That was
commitment
to the podcast. That's all. We keep moving. We keep moving. Jeff Lewis is dead.
Richard. No Band-Aid. He just. Well, he said Jeff. Yeah, it's Richard.
Richard
Lewis. I was looking at you. Sorry, Richard Lewis.
I was
joking about wanting to wake up dead. I wasn't serious. You
Jesus Christ!
It is so hot here. Sorry, Richard Lewis is dead.
Oh, blame the heat, Malibu Barbie.
I will.
What a hit! I hate this.
You hate this?
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Yeah.
I can't.
You watch first?
What?
Do you watch Curb Your Enthusiasm at all? It's not like a thing over there.
I mean, I
Not
understand,
my
like, like, oh, he's in his 70s, right? But to me now, I'm like, oh, he's so young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Old.
I mean, I remember.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
20 years ago, I would have been like, oh, well, Now I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
that's not old at all. 70 is
Yeah.
young.
I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah,
I was
it
at my
is.
grandmother's 90th birthday, and there was multiple 90-year-olds like jumping and dancing around. And
I'm like, my friends are in their
it's crazy.
60s, and they're going out getting,
Yeah.
not trashed at a bar still, like partying like
Yeah.
in the 80s. And I'm like,
Fuck yeah.
70s right there. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh.
I know. He had Parkinson's though, and like honestly, when the last season of Curb, I watch it, and he looked when he first appeared on the episode. I said to my husband, I go, he doesn't look good,
Yes,
and I
that's
go,
right.
I said he looks really sunken in. I go and like almost like emaciated. I said he looks like he's gonna die, and one of the lines in the show, they're all talking, or I'm sorry, him and Larry are talking. And Richard Lewis says to him, he goes, you don't call me, you don't write. He goes, you dress awful. And he's like, and Larry's like, what are we? He's like, am I your wife? He goes, I have to call you. He goes, I dress awful. He goes, and Richard Lewis, he goes, I'm the best dressed comedian around. And Larry David goes, when are you gonna die? And it was a joke. And then in the next episode, Richard Lewis says that he's gonna put Larry in his will, and Larry goes, I don't want the fucking money. He goes, don't do it. He goes, I don't want the application. I don't want the money. He goes, well, I'm gonna do it. He goes, I want you to know how much I care about you. And he goes, no. He goes, please, it's too much of an application. I don't want it hanging over my head. He goes, I have money. I don't want the money. He goes, don't give it to me. And again, I just the way he looks. If you watch the show, you could see it. Like you could just
The
see it.
last couple of seasons.
Coming.
The last 2 or 3 seasons, he popped up and did not look good at all.
No,
But
I didn't know he had Parkinson's though. Like I had no idea.
Maybe
Yeah, I didn't
they
know that.
knew. Maybe obviously they knew something was going on, so maybe they're just trying to, I don't know, deal with it through the art that they create. Like, look at Christina Ricci. I'm having a really bad day today. Christina Applegate. in the last season of Dead to Me, she's like, there's a very big difference from her in season 2 and season 3. I can't remember.
Yeah,
Oh,
My brain.
3.
That demarcation point of like, everything was fine, and then it's really, really not okay anymore. It's like it can happen so quickly. You're like, oh, geez, right, okay, things are not okay.
I didn't know that him and Larry David were born 3 days apart and in the same hospital.
There you go.
Really?
Did anybody know that?
Oh,
I did not.
I just found that out today. I was like, that is fucking crazy. Like they have been together their whole lives. Like that is crazy.
Besties, man.
Yeah.
Besties, man. It was good. Like, so that must be kind of cathartic for them to go, yeah, okay, we're dealing with this, but we can also put it into the art that we create to help the audience. Now that everyone knows what's happened, you can look back and go, oh, okay, like I get it. Like they're trying to comment on it
because he was having problems.
So
he what?
He stopped touring. He
touring.
stopped doing stand up.
Oh.
Yeah. It's all part and parcel of of the change of life, your changing of life. And I said weeks ago, I said something ain't right with somebody, and then now, oh Jesus Christ! Did anyone watch any of Where Is Wendy Williams?
Oh, I don't want to.
I could not watch it.
I
watched maybe 30 seconds, 40 seconds. I said, this is just awful. And I kept it fucking moving. I could not.
Some of those clips just look.
She has been diagnosed. She's been diagnosed with primary progressive aphasia and frontotemporal dementia. So exactly the same kind of condition that Bruce Willis is suffering at the moment. But as soon as I saw her in the trailer for that documentary, I was like, Wendy ain't right.
Well, here's the
no.
thing. I mean, when you started seeing her eyeballs change, right? You knew it wasn't just an alcohol problem. It wasn't
Or
just
Graves, or the Graves.
there was other things going on, right? There's medical issues wrong with this woman. It's not just she has an addiction issue. Like there really is things wrong with her. She's not okay.
Yeah.
Right? Like you know, like there was always things going on besides, oh, she's got a booze problem or she likes her Coke, you know.
Whatever
it's a sad thing, you know, like
it's
she's
very sad. Did you see
rough life?
Did you see the clip of her talking with Black China?
No.
And she just kind of, it's like, oh, I know that, I know those dementia. I like, she's not there, and she's like, I'm gonna tell you my real name, and she's like, oh, okay, yeah, she's having one of those moments, and it's actually really, really sad. No matter what you think about Wendy, like I've heard a lot of people be like, oh, all Wendy Williams did was talk shit about people. It's like, yeah, but no one deserves this. Like,
well, what she did was very. I mean, look at all the men that do it, and they don't have the rap that she has. Like TMZ, nobody's talking shit about him. He's doing the same damn thing. Yeah, but she did it first.
Yeah, exactly, and you know,
and she was not apologetic, and she wasn't really a bitch. She was just trying to be humorous and give her take. You know, she just wasn't a stand-up comic like Joan Rivers, but you know what I mean? Like, I feel like her shit wasn't meant to be mean. It was meant to be like snarky, kind of, you know, like, haha, you know, like,
yeah.
Like, oh, girl, what you doing? Like, girl, you better sit down, honey. You better stop messing with him. You know, like, it wasn't like this bitch. Like, I don't know.
Like malicious.
Yeah. The court of public opinion is always going to make people, you know, like some people like people, some people don't like people. That's cool, but no, you wouldn't wish this upon anyone. Like, she's not only is she suffering this, she's got her medical conditions. She's in a financial conservatorship. She doesn't / can't speak to her family at the moment. There's a lot going on. Like, she's been kept from speaking to people. It's eerily reminiscent of someone else that we shall not talk about. Like, these conservatorships really need. These conservatorships really need like a panel as opposed to one person like playing God.
The family was blown through the money, and it doesn't sound like she's got a ton of it. Talk shows that don't pay like they did in the 90s.
And she wasn't on like a major network, you know what I mean?
No. So if they're blowing through all that cash and she's, you know what I mean? Like, somebody had to step in and be like, yo, she you know, she's not going to have money to take care of herself for the rest of her life.
Yeah.
I mean, at what point does somebody get to say, yo, this chick's not okay. Somebody's got to look out for her. I mean, I understand, like, we had the Britney situation, but at what point is a family toxic? At what point do we say enough is
toxic?
I mean, I think it's a hard thing no matter what. You know what I mean? Like, even with Britney, right? Like, clearly there was issues. So if she was out of control,
just a few issues, but that's
can't manage her money. What do you do? Do you let them? I don't know.
Well, I think it's not even like. I think you're right. I mean, you have to have like a conservatorship of some sort. The problem is that it comes down to who can you trust to run something for somebody. Right. You know, that's the issue, is that you just fucking can't trust anybody anywhere anymore.
There shouldn't be any financial gain from anybody that has financial say in the person's money. They should not be allowed to have any gain in it at all.
Well, to be fair, I'm sure that part of it is that they get paid, but there should be like an overview of someone going, hey, you're earning this much money, but where is that coming from? Because you should only be getting this much money from being paid from this person to be their, from being their conservator. Right. You shouldn't be able to do like that was the big problem with the Britney deal, is that Jamie had the power to sign deals on her behalf and use her
Well, there
likeness.
should
and
have
use
been
her,
trustees that
that's,
kept
yeah,
Jamie
that's
in
exactly
check.
the problem. Yeah,
Right.
and I would hope for Wendy that, you know, with the documentary coming to light, she's apparently the one that pushed it through. People are like, "Are you sure you want this to go to air?" And she's like, "Well, I want to be in control of my narrative. Like, people are talking about me. People are saying this, that, the other. I want them to see what it is that's happening, and they can make up their own minds." So,
Who's the guy in the back though? Like with her in the videos.
that's her manager, or I think there's some, that guy's a bit
Is
shonky.
it like
I think.
Sam
Yeah, I think it's
or
I think
what was
there's
the other one? Howard Stern?
Yeah. Look
Howard
what
Kane
happened to
Stern?
Anna Nicole. That's all I'm gonna say.
See, it's always so you never. It's like you said, you never fucking know.
You can't trust any, and it should. That's why it shouldn't be anyone that
It's
you
scary.
know, you personally
Right.
know.
No, it should be a
go-
third party.
It should be a third party that is overseen by somebody else. Like, well,
But even
it's a
that's
job.
scary too because
Yeah.
you don't know.
Well, yeah, I mean, like you said, there should be some sort of like
It should be a
fiduciary
panel.
agreement, you know, where it's like I can't gain off of your gains, like you said. You know what I mean? Like there can't be any way, like you can't pay me indirectly. I cannot reap any sort of, you know, there's got to be some sort of legal document.
Well, there
that
needs to be
says
like,
that,
okay,
like
if
more like a
if it's
trustee
found
type of thing.
out that you benefited somehow, it's like prison for life or so. You know what I mean?
Right.
It has to be a
Right.
stiff.
Well, right. It's not only theft, but you're essentially taking advantage of somebody
Yeah.
who's in a you know a substandard mental state, you know, or whatever the terminology is. It escapes me, but yeah, I mean, you're taking advantage of someone who's not in the right mental state, so that should be a crime, you know, in itself. Never mind the fact you're just stealing money from somebody. So yeah, you should go to jail for a very long time if you get audited at the end of it and you've gained something, you know, or you should be audited every year. You know, where did this come from? How did you afford this? What, you know, there should be like a special department of IRS or something or SEC commission that monitors things like that, because that's a slippery slope, man. Getting your hands on someone's paycheck, checkbook, you know. But
I'm just very impressed we came up with the word fiduciary too.
that's my favorite word. It's
the
like
glasses.
it's like an E-Trade commercial, and the lady's like, "Well, we're not a fiduciary, so we don't profit unless you profit." I'm like, that's a fucking great word. That is a great word, fiduciary.
Every day. All right, I'm going to talk a little bit about a story that you guys probably don't know about, but it is massive news here in Australia, and an unfolding story because of the content. And so if anyone is a little bit sensitive about domestic violence, spousal abuse, etc., maybe just hang back for a little bit, because we are going to talk about a story that is in the news here in Australia. It's the double homicide of former TV presenter Jesse Beard, 26, and his partner Luke Davies, 29, by a 28-year-old Beau Lamar, who is a police officer. Now,
who was who?
So who is who? Oh, sorry. Jesse is on the left. So Jesse was a presenter in the like the
My left
pinky
or your
kind
left?
of, or the pinky, the guy without the wool hat on. Yeah. So Jesse's the guy. Yeah, Jesse's the guy. Yeah, with like the tanny pinky jumper. Like
He was the
sweater
TV
on.
dude.
He was the TV presenter. Yeah. So Channel 10 here, one of our big networks. Was a presenter, a kids TV presenter, and then like graduated through to morning TV and all that kind of thing. They were both shot and killed by a New South Wales police officer. Now,
was it a three-way gone wrong?
No, and this is what the problem is. The way that this story has been reported and dealt with by New South Wales police officers, the police in general, and the media, because all three men were homosexual, the narrative to start with was that this is a crime of passion and that it is a relationship gone wrong. Turns out that Bolamar, who is the son of one of the high-ups in the New South Wales Police Department, is actually a celebrity fan. So he's one of those people that stalks people at the airport and follows them around and gets photos with people. And the first allegations were that he was Jesse's ex-boyfriend, jealous ex-boyfriend. Turns out he was more of a stalker that has not dealt with the fact that, you know, these two guys only recently got into a relationship. He hasn't dealt with it and killed them both. He only apparently this is unfolding as we speak. There's no confirmation as to like the motive, but it is believed that he only went to the apartment to kill Jesse to start with, but he didn't know the other guy was going to be there, so he murdered them both.
Wow.
This has all happened within the last week. They were reported missing after a large amount of blood was found at the house at the apartment at Jesse's apartment.
He moved the bodies. This guy.
It gets deeper. Okay, so they found all this blood. Then a couple of suburbs over, they found property belonging to Jesse and somebody else in a dumpster. There was a white van that was hired and used to transport something that was then dropped off in Newcastle, in my hometown. So, like, about an hour and a half away. And Bolamar was spotted on CCTV buying a surfboard cover a day before the murder. Both of the bodies were found on a property known to his family, buried in a dirt mound in surfboard covers.
So that's premeditated murder, disposing of evidence, and hiding a body. I mean, I don't know. I'm assuming Australian rules are pretty similar to United States rules. So, are they saying that this guy's father and family are covering it up because they're high-ranking?
Mother.
Covering it up. Like, he's not even a good fucking cop.
No, this is the thing. It's taken them until it has taken them until this week to begin proceedings to remove him from the New South Wales Police Force.
What the fuck?
Wow.
How about he's cuffed in a cell? You know,
he came forward and handed himself in, but this is the problem. And the whole out-of-touch nature of the New South Wales Police Force is being put into question because I think it was the Deputy Commissioner or the Commissioner was on morning television and they were asking, what do you think about the criticism of the police force? And she said, oh, what is it that Taylor Swift says? Haters gonna hate?
Wow.
So one of your people has murdered two people with a police weapon.
Yeah.
And we're haters. Yeah. So this is blowing up. This story will continue to unfold, and the New South Wales Police have officially been uninvited from the gay and lesbian Mardi Gras in Sydney this weekend.
Well.
And that's another huge thing because the whole thing about Mardi Gras was, a response to the police's attitude towards the queer culture in Australia. And there's been this kind of, yay, aren't we all together? Look, the police are marching in Mardi Gras and all that kind of thing. And now it is a question. It's a question of, are they really serving everyone in the community?
I think I personally just I feel like that's a little bit of a slippery slope, and I completely understand where it's coming from. But I when you were telling that story, I wasn't like, oh, they're turning their back on the LGBTQ community. It's more to me like they're just trying to cover up one of their own. You know what I mean? Like that was the angle I was thinking. But I'm also not in that community, so I don't know. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like I don't know what the relationship is in that community with that police department, so I can't really say.
I think
but
the sense of self-preservation is the problem.
Right.
When it is the police's duty to serve and protect the public, you can't close ranks and go, oh, he may have done it when he's confessed. Like he's confessed that he did this.
Right.
Like
I totally agree. I don't think it's them being like, well, it's a gay couple, so who really cares? Let's just sweep it under the rug. I think it's like you said, more self-preservation than anything else.
And the attitude towards the criticism of the police, like you're going to quote a Taylor Swift lyric just because she's in the country.
Unreal.
That's crazy. That is crazy.
I don't get it. So we're actually, Luke and I are actually going to work a little bit on a show about, domestic violence and mental health within the community and et cetera, et cetera. So that's going to be a roundtable coming up soon. Sorry?
Is Jackie going to be there?
Who's Jackie? Do you mean Sandy?
Oh,
Jeffrey,
Dr. Sandy, yeah,
Dr. Sandy. Too. We are going to get a couple of people because there are a lot of different reactions coming up from this this event, and it is a story that is going to keep unfolding because it's like an onion. It's got a lot of layers. There's a lot of layers to what's going on. There's a lot to process. A lot to process for 90s children this week in the last couple of days as well. Now, Jeff and Christina, I've got a little news for you. Now, New Kids on the Block are launching their Magic Summer Tour that someone's going to. Just say it. But did you know they've released a new single called Kids? And they have reactivated their party line.
Get out of here.
You can call up. You can call up and you get a special message from the boys, and it is free of charge. They said,
I'm not gonna lie. I called that line a couple of times growing up.
They took to TikTok to announce the reactivation of their party line. And they said, this time it's on us. So if you are hanging tough, if you have the right stuff, you can get in contact with the boys. They're interested in having a little chat. So party lines weren't really the biggest thing here in Australia, but I remember hearing about it. So 90, I bet Jeffrey, you would have called it, right?
No, I actually never. No, but we had the gay party lines later on when we worked at the nightclub, and everybody was on those after work. Happy Trust.
That's probably a different kind of party. A different kind of party than the New Kids.
Yeah, that's a 900 number. Yeah.
Well, there you go. Christina, did you ever call the New Kids party line?
Never, not once. I don't think.
Hetero Tim,
my sister did.
Called the New Kids party line.
I'm thinking my sister may have. Maybe, but not me. I don't remember that.
Oh man, me and my sister used to call constantly, and then we had they're like the thing where like the video cassette of like that album, so it shows them making the videos and stuff. And me and my sister would take turns like singing songs in like a tube of toothpaste. And like we just turned the volume way up on the TV and then like lip sync the music, and then like whoever wasn't singing had to be the crowd. And oh man, we used to do shit like that all the time. Yeah, I had New Kids on Block sleeping bags. I had blankets. I was big into. My first concert was New Kids on the Block.
Bedding set.
Yeah,
I remember the bedding set, the posters. Like I know we had all that stuff, but I don't remember calling the hotline. I wish I did.
What exciting revelation!
Ex-Mosa, I'm telling you, I'm sure my sister.
We've got the major fan like right here, like it's like living. Jeff, you should have took Tim with you. He would have gone to the concert.
Me and Melissa are actually trying to get tickets.
Yes,
to the same night that you guys are going. So
yes, that'd be amazing. I'm so jealous.
Just take my
New Kids
spot.
on
Now
the
I feel
Block
bad.
and Paula Abdul together. Oh my God! Stop.
Oh man, Paul Abdul, 2 steps forward, 2 steps back, or 1 step back.
Yeah,
Great
see,
jam.
I was a huge Paula Abdul fan. Like,
Yes. Bye, Bobby
she never had, right?
No, she was too busy stepping it out. She was stepping and high kicking and stepping and high kicking. And this one, Jeffrey, this one's totally dedicated to you because I didn't even know it was fucking happening. The remake of Don't Tell Mom
Listen,
the Babysitter's
Fuck
Dead
off. Okay.
comes
I don't know if I
out
like that.
next month.
Why?
I don't know if I
is-
like
Shut
it.
the fuck.
First off,
Here we go. First up, here
I
we go.
used to love this movie as a kid. I'd love renting
I'm
renting
obsessed.
it, you know, but somebody I spent 10 years with watched this movie weekly. I don't ever fucking need to see it again, and I sure as hell don't need to see the goddamn remake. Okay,
Weekly. Jesus.
I'm right on top of that, Rose. I'm good.
Is this
That's one of those
horror-
lines. That's one of those lines I can drop randomly anywhere, and somebody gets it. And I do drop it often.
Yeah.
Like somebody has to do something, I'm always like, I'm right on top of that, Rose. And
It's
there's
my
always someone in the
quote
room
for
that
my
gets it.
I am. At work, you can put a quote at the top of it.
Yeah.
That's my quote. I'm right on top of that road. I'll show it
wow.
to you right now if I had my
Is
laptop.
this is a horrible time to announce that we're gonna do an assigned seating on Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead?
Oh, count me in. Let me know when. Because
I would love to watch it.
The other day, I was home alone doing the dishes, and when I finished, I said, "The dishes are done, man." And I went and sat down. I'm actually a little upset they're remaking it. Like that's one of those movies. Like I wish they didn't touch. But
Who's
whatever.
in it?
Play Carolyn.
Well,
Yeah, who's in it?
Let me jump in.
Well,
So
the trailer was real weak.
yeah,
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I have no idea.
The trailer's attached to the article on our page, so you can go have a look.
It was like real quick, and it's what's
the modern version. The modern version stars Nicole Richie, Simone Joy Jones, and June Squibb, with Gus Kenworthy also appearing.
I don't know any of these names.
You don't know Nicole
Not
Richie?
fucking one of them. I know Nicole Richie, but all the other ones, I don't know who you're
But
talking about.
Nicole Richie's playing like the Rose role, right?
I believe so. I don't know.
Because I thought that's what I caught in the trailer, where she's like, "You need to say I'm right on top, or I'm right on whatever," and it cuts off. I'm like,
yeah, just before the line comes out, you need to say.
yeah, but they didn't really show who was playing like the daughter.
Let me see. I believe she is. Let me have a look.
Or I think they showed her at the door, but they showed the babysitter real quick. It was a very, very quick trailer. It didn't really.
It is very quick. Let me go to the.
Did they put her in a crate and leave her to church?
Well, June Squibb is the babysitter. She's like an actress, like an old Broadway, like old movie actress. So she's the. Oh, Jermaine Fowler's in it.
She
Miles
doesn't look
Fowler.
mean though.
Nicole Richie is Rose, correct? Yes.
Like how, like the whole, like she has to be a mean babysitter, otherwise you're gonna feel bad she died.
Yeah.
Like, and this
Maybe
bitch doesn't look like mean. The other bitch looked like a fucking witch.
Maybe she's
Scary.
racist because I believe that the younger cast is black, so maybe she's racist.
Okay, well that would just be horrible.
Don't tell them the babysitter is
a racist.
KKK. It's the Grand Wizard.
Yeah, but like, that's not funny. Like that's not going to be. You know what I mean? Like that. There's nothing funny about that.
Yeah, you're right.
But maybe she's one of those babysitters, you know, that is nice to the parents and turns into a raging cunt when the kids are alone.
Yeah.
I don't know. We don't know enough about it yet. We gotta wait and see. So it's coming out in
That's what happened
April,
with this one.
which means we'll have to sit down and talk about it soon. So there you go.
That would be like
You've
them
heard it here
doing
first.
Clueless. No.
Well,
No.
the rumors that I've heard are not good. So don't get
Like I just watched The Godfather the other day for the first time all the way through. And the first thing I said to myself is, Christ, they better not try to remake this fucking movie. Because it wasn't really like it's actually very poorly done, if that makes any sense. Like it's very like cheesy.
Yeah.
Well,
But the movie was great. And but the movie, I'm like, how could you redo this? Like, you couldn't touch this movie. You know, it's just one of those. And I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying any of these movies are great, but that's like, I would hate to see them redone. Like, don't ruin something that's good already. You know what I mean?
Can't repeat those actors in that era and what they did. Like,
right.
That art doesn't exist anymore. How people act now is totally different.
And the way the world was at the time the movie was created is a very different, very different place to what it was.
But
which is
even something like Don't Tell Mom, like it's like, okay, that movie was funny because it was like when we were that age when it came out, we were kind of like, oh, this would be awesome.
Imagine
and like you hadn't seen it before. Now it's like we're always going to compare the remake to the original, not to its own story.
Well,
so
that was
the problem.
Like
when you hit gold with the first thing, it's not going to strike twice. Lightning's not going to strike twice. Odds are,
when's it going to be stuck?
Trying to remake Home Alone, like how do you do that? Even bringing him back. What are you going to do? Have him leave his?
You would have to bring back the entire cast for it to make sense. Then you know what I mean.
You would have to somehow have him be in a fucked up situation where he's alone as an adult,
where he forgets,
because you can't have him forget his kid. Like do that to his kid after that was done to him. Like, and what you have cell phones and shit now. Like,
Home Alone is not really a plausible scenario.
Right.
You'd have to do something with him and the family and have the people. Like you'd have to come up with an entirely different. Concept.
Sometimes a straight out a reboot is needed, even though a property is much beloved. There is a property that is much beloved and part of our history that's made news again this week. The good old Power Rangers. Now that Netflix are owning them, they're getting serious. So they did the nostalgia thing, and we talked to Karen about it when she was on. God, that's nearly 2 years ago now. Because we talked to Karen just after she'd filmed it. So, but they are rebooting Power Rangers as an hour-long episode series. I don't know if that works, right? Like they're going to be hour episodes. I think part of it was like, we're done. Like, I don't know that kids' attention spans are any better than they were then.
See the Avatar show that just came out that they did?
I haven't even seen this.
The kids like the cartoon, so I put it on for a game. Because I thought, okay, it's gonna look real high end, like it's Netflix, right? So I'm thinking, okay, well, if they do Power Rangers,
different Avatar. Sorry, I'm with you.
Yeah, no, it was really,
Avatar.
It was
not big, tall
cheaply
Avatar.
done. It looked like a TV show.
Yeah.
So I'm like, so I'm wondering if is Power Rangers still going to look like Power Rangers? You know what I mean?
Well, it's got Netflix money and Hasbro money behind it now. So who knows? We'll have to wait and see. And if they're going to, cherry pick any of.
Yeah, but they're not spending money like that.
Yeah. Well, it's all going on that Stranger Things show that, is wrapping up this year. They need to keep reminding themselves that they're wrapping that show up. It's an issue.
Yeah.
Because there's not a lot else on Netflix anymore.
It's supposed to be teenagers. Now it's a bunch of 45-year-olds in LA.
They got the AR. Look, sometimes things look different, though, when they are reimagined. Did anyone ever remember the movie from the 90s, The Crow? Starring Brandon Lee.
Love it.
Here's our first look at Bill Skarsgård as Eric Draven in the remake.
Bill Skarsgård.
Look at Bill.
I can get the Raven is one that I think I could get behind. As much as I love the original, I mean the Crow. I don't know why I just said the Raven. The Crow is one that I think could use an update. I would appreciate an update to something like that.
Well, that's
I don't. And I love Bill Skarsgård because I'm a huge Pennywise fan, even like the Tim Curry Pennywise. So
exactly. Looking at what he did with Pennywise, I can't imagine what he's going to do with something, similarly as dark.
6 degrees of Power Ranger.
Mm-hmm. Yes. It's all right. We like it. We like a Skarsgård. We like it.
Bill Skarsgård was in Power Rangers?
No, in the original, what was it? The original Crow, right?
Yeah.
Brandon Lee?
Yeah, the original Yellow Ranger was in it.
Trini.
Oh, really?
She died. Yeah. Everything on Uncensored Radio leads back to Power Rangers. We just have to accept it. We had a bit of a flashback episode.
Next to my obituary
Austin
picture
St.
online, there'll be a picture of Austin St. John.
That was the episode that we played on Wednesday, on Tuesday.
Well, when fucking what's her fuck? She's like, "Oh, you were on the show with Karen, weren't you?"
Yeah, and you're like,
bitch, we've been doing this radio show for a fucking year, and you thought I was a Power Ranger?
Yeah.
I was pissed.
Well, you do have a very similar
I didn't think she thought I was Austin. I thought she thought I was Polly.
Bulk.
Yeah, I thought she thought I was Bulk.
No, you and Austin do have a very similar facial look. It's like, okay. I was looking at pictures. I'm like, I could see it, especially when you were like all skinny nature. I didn't have a beard. I was like, who is that girl? I love looking at old images. Where is that?
Love that movie too, by the way. Who's that girl? I'm trying to get Melissa to watch it. Love that movie.
Wow, some secret taste of TV.
Loud and clear. Like one of my favorite movie lines. Anyway.
Dear. So Jeffrey and I took a little it's not really nostalgia, but it's nostalgia based, because while I was visiting Jeffrey, we had a little bit of a horror movie marathon, and we watched the latest Scream movies back to back, and then Jeffrey fell asleep in the second one, but that's okay. But Skeet Ulrich has revealed that he was originally pitched a 3-movie deal for his return as Billy Loomis. And now that Melissa Barrera has been fired, he is telling the story. So they can't really go back and use it now that she was going to be the killer in Scream 7. Her psychosis
he didn't know the plot.
Well, this was the plot he was pitched. This is at a convention recently. He was like, that's the plot I was pitched. I don't know if they wrote it into 7, but that's where I assume we were going with it. So Scream is a sinking ship. They're gonna have to really rebrand and come up with a better idea, because everyone's like, I don't know. I'll just tell you what I know. We'll tell you later on. That's okay. That's all good. You know, they've all put it in the bucket thinking they're not going to get paid, and then something will happen.
I think that would have pissed a lot of people off. I mean, I think it's great because
the reaction,
but I think that would have pissed a lot.
The reaction in the comments was a little bit. Whew, everyone's
they'd be like Laurie Strode becoming the new Michael Myers. I just, I don't fucking know. Like there's shock value shit, and then there's just fuck.
I need some hot takes on this week's view. Now, Jeffrey, you're probably the only one who's going to react when I say bravo, bravo, fucking bravo. There's shit going down.
Yes!
There's shit going down for the Bravo Network and Andy Cohen, because former housewives are starting to get litigious. Leah McSweeney, who was a cast member of Real Housewives of New York City for seasons 12 and 13, is suing Andy Cohen and Bravo because she says they provided a toxic work environment. And basically that, let me get her, I'll get her official statement so I don't paraphrase it and expose my bias already. She is saying, create a dangerous work environment, encourage substance abuse, artificially create drama, and cynically prey on the vulnerabilities of their employees. Okay.
Why'd you sign up for the show then?
Here's my feeling. And this is, I'm going to go. I'll go first, and everyone else can breathe in it. Okay. You came into the television show in season 12 and 13. I'm assuming that you would have some kind of legal representation, talent management, something like that would have done their due diligence and informed you about what kind of show you were signing on for. Reality television called Real Housewives. where there are multiple franchises across multiple countries all over the world, where their bread and butter is making bitches go crazy and seeing how they react. I think you should have known better. And also, the fact that you're alleging that they exposed and encouraged your alcoholism and mental health issues. They're your issues. You're a grown adult. If you know you have an alcohol abuse issue, why would you put yourself in that situation to begin with? And as we always say on this show, mental health issues are not your fault, but they are your responsibility. So if you're making money off a show like this, use that money to go get some mental health help, as opposed to acting like a victim when you got fired after your second season because you were boring. The end. That's all I have to say on the matter. But this is part of the problem with the modern world, is that everyone is looking for someone to blame for their issues. Correct or not? Am I
100%.
in my own tree here? No one can force a grown adult to drink. You are choosing to do that, yeah? It might be on the set, it might be there, it might be, the storyline is we're all going on holiday, we're all going to get drunk. You don't have to do it. There's no one, there's no gun. Andy Cohen, the gayest man in history, is not holding a gun to the back of the head going, girl, you better drink. No, that's not what's happening. You've just got weak moral character and can't stand up for yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm like, what is that about? And there's Bethany Frankel is another one who's now trying to sue him and for a toxic work environment. It's interesting that Bethany's trying to sue him now after she pitched shows to Bravo that they didn't pick up. I'm like, it's certainly biting the hand that used to feed you, but she wouldn't have had the platform that she... I mean, Bethany Frankel had that horrible, horrible wine. She had those horrible, horrible cocktails, that horrible, horrible talk show.
They're all still out, aren't they? The
Skinny Girl? Yeah, I think
the talk show is definitely not still out. It's like, hello.
No, yeah.
She gone. But some people just have to accept that, you do sometimes have a 15-minute spotlight. And you can't be the hot shit the entire time and then go, oh, if it's legitimately traumatizing and you're having issues over it, yeah, of course, do something about it. But 8 years after the fact, and then she has a podcast talking about the shows that are on now. I don't get that. I feel like that's like me being Jeff's ex-employee and being living the best life, and then 5 years later go, you called me fat on a Thursday night, and I'd like to sue you for that because I feel that's toxic and I can't eat cheese anymore. It's like, fucking grow up. Really? These are grown-ass women. They know what they're doing. I mean, you don't sign... And if you don't read a contract, if you don't watch the show you're going to fucking go on, you deserve everything you got. I mean, Jeff, you guys filmed a pilot for a TV reality, or more than a pilot. You guys filmed a couple of episodes for a reality TV show. I'm sure you guys had people sign waivers and stuff like that for their use.
We had contracts.
Exactly. And those contracts would have been pretty tight, correct?
Well, I mean, here's the thing, right? So these people, you go into it, you don't know what you're doing. You may not have had an entertainment lawyer. And I mean, Bravo is notorious for having horrible contracts. Very one-sided contracts. They got paid very little. So if they didn't go into this with a boatload of money, they can't afford a lawyer. And two, so they're going to go film an episode or whatever, because David was a producer.
Power Rangers.
So it'd be like, hey, if you don't feel you're under the contract, we're going to sue you because it's in your contract that we can take your house, we can take your business. Because I mean, Bethany even put out there, so the girls that go on the show, if they start a business after they've been on the show, Bravo gets X percentage of their profits for the rest of their lives.
Wow.
These contracts were that bad, but you go into it thinking, oh,
you gotta look at shit like that though. Like you can't just assume that
people
everyone's looking out for your well-being.
Things through, right? But you know what I mean? Like, you're like, okay, well, what's the trade-off? I'm going to get you to be on TV. Maybe this company's going to make $1 million. You're not thinking of.
But like Steve said, that's the accountability. That's responsibility falls on your shoulders. Like Bravo didn't hide anything in all those contracts. It says it right there in black and white. If you choose to sign the bottom line because you want to be famous for 2 seasons, that's on you. You didn't read it.
But that doesn't excuse them to have a shitty work environment, though.
That becomes
whether or not
that they were threatening them.
If their work environment was so shitty, how is the show still around for 13 seasons and they haven't been sued by multiple cast members? Why is it only this one that's come forward?
No,
you know what I mean. So
there's more people coming forward.
There's more, but my issue is the fact that she's choosing to blame her issues with sobriety on the show. That's her choice. Like whether I know that alcoholism, addiction it's a legitimately serious thing, but you can't go, they're making me drink. No one is forcing that drink into your body.
I mean,
you can just be
maybe they threatened to sue her if she didn't have a drink.
Jeff, we've watched the show. The people that don't do things, they just don't get storylines. They sit there and go like this. And you can't. When you are against, and especially in that franchise, when you're up against big personalities, like that's Luann.
I mean, but you don't know what's going on in this chick's world. That they were like, "Yo, if you don't do something, you don't get, you don't create a storyline for yourself. We're gonna let you go. Maybe you need to pick up a drink. We'll get you back in AA." You know what I mean? You don't know what they were saying. And maybe
that's still a choice.
Referring to. I understand it's still a choice. But when somebody's saying that we're going to drop your ass and you're not going to have an income, you're not going to have a way to like save your family, you make dumb choices. But again, that does not give the company that right to do anything like that. Like that's not okay. And you can't do that shit. And I don't know that they did that, but I'm just trying to find.
They said Kristen Cavallari from The Hills, or Laguna Beach, that show, said that the producers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, well, she had an interview and she said the producers specifically made it so that she would end up in certain situations where there would be a fight, where they said to her, "Listen, do this, say this," so that it would make good TV. Like again, it's just the life that you're in now. That's it.
For her at that time,
ripped it like improv.
Yeah, for her at that time, of course, yeah, cool. But for this woman who signed on 12 and 13 years down the track, when there is years and seasons and franchises of what this network and company does for their bread and butter,
show.
And they're not hiding that. Like,
everyone
knows the Housewives is about fucking people going crazy. Like,
how hard would it have been to pick up and be like, hey, you calling somebody else from a previous season or something to be like, hey, I've been approached by Bravo to do the show. Like, what's it like? Is it really this bad? You know what I mean? Like, what prevented you from doing your own research on that? And I understand that a lot of people, when presented with fame and likes and stuff like that, probably don't think things through.
Yes. Yeah, they go, yeah.
And you know what? Yeah. That does not give Bravo the right to do shitty things. But you know what? Bravo's a fucking private company. And guess what? We asked you to do it. You signed a contract. Guess what? Now your ass is ours. You should have fucking read it. And if you don't like it, then you can go fucking kick rocks. Because the only reason you're on the show is because you have money. You had an income beforehand. So you don't like what we're doing? Then go fucking back to making your $20 an hour, serving whatever fucking bartender while your rich husband sits around with his fucking secretary. And then you just leave us alone. You go back to being you. We have no problem with that. See you later. And don't start a fucking skinny margarita company that we get 12% of for the rest of, in perpetuity for the rest of the fucking business.
Tim's back, ladies
He's got the
and
worst.
gentlemen.
Every
Yes,
decision,
yes,
I
yes.
try to tell the girls this all the time. There's no such thing as I didn't have a choice. You have a choice in everything you do. You may not like the consequence of that choice, but you always have a choice. Your friends are smoking, and they're not going to be friends if you don't smoke anymore. Guess what? Don't fucking touch a cigarette. Go find new friends that won't put you in that position anymore. Is it going to be hard?
Right.
Yeah, it's going to be hard. But you know what? Lung cancer may be hard now when you're fucking addicted to cigarettes or getting kicked out of the house because mom doesn't like your fucking choices. There's consequences to everything. And you got to live by those consequences based on the fucking choices you make. And that's it. Trust me. I've made plenty of bad decisions. That's why I was on fucking dialysis. And I fucking had to have 3 organ transplants. And why I had to have my fucking eyes cut out in January and December. But you know what? I don't regret a fucking single thing I did because I enjoyed my ass off in my fucking 20s. You know what I mean? And that's just the price I chose to pay. Devil said, "You want to have fun now? This is the price you're going to pay when you're 40 years old." And I said, "Done," and check that box. And I don't regret a fucking single decision that I made. But there are consequences to every decision, and you make that decision, you got to stand by the consequences, and that's it. That's it.
Beautiful. I love
People
that.
are gonna and people will cry about it because, like Steve said, there's no accountability anymore. It's never anybody's fault. It's never my fault. Guess what? You picked up the drink, you put it in your mouth, and you blew fucking 10 years of ass. What's that?
I said this about that concert and that Stampede.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah, fucking people suck, man. Just in general, people suck. No one thinks of consequences anymore.
Yeah. Well, when you take a 8-year-old to a concert with 10,000 people, of course something bad's going to fucking happen. But anyway, that's not a problem. Sometimes we just want to wipe ourselves clean of the horror that is our lives, and that's what we're going to do with this week's What Fuck Week.
What the?
Now, we were talking about, what our younger selves would think about our current choices, etc., etc. Imagine that you are, like this woman at 56 years old who went to hospital for a headache and woke up with no memory of the last 30 years.
Oh my God, please.
So this happened in October 2018. Kim Dan Cole developed a pain in her head that gave her blurry vision and left her feeling extremely dizzy. The grandmother from Louisiana was at Bible study group, in Baton Rouge, where the incident took place, and immediately sought medical attention. She finally woke up in the emergency room, confused. However, things took a turn for the worse when she had no recollection that she was married or had 2 children, and no knowledge of the last 30 years, including, who was president, the fact that computers existed, all of that kind of shit was lost.
Fuck.
It's like 51st dates.
I need 10. I fucking sign me up.
So you want to be 10 years old in an adult body?
Let me try again.
Like a quick reset.
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta catch on quick, right?
That's what she said. Like,
that's fucking terrible.
That's like she's talking about. They said, "Do you know what year it is?" She goes, "Yeah, 1980." Who's the president? Ronald Reagan. And she goes, she talks about how much has changed and how, like, we literally take for granted. She goes, "When I went home, I didn't know what the TV was." Because last time I remember a TV, it was a box that sat freestanding. It had an aerial that we turned on, and this thing is like recessed into the wall. It can tell you can voice control it, you can do all of this stuff. She's like, I had to go and relearn how to do stuff like change a channel, like do all that kind of stuff, because she's like, they had a manual TV. The last thing she remembers is having a manual television. Things have changed, and she's been diagnosed with extensive amnesia, also known as transient global amnesia. But there's they've got no reasoning as to why it happened, how it happened, if she'll ever get her memory back. So, imagine being able to press the reset button. Is that something you would do?
Yeah, but that's not a reset button. I don't know.
Well,
Like if I
it's-
was
sorry.
okay
A
and wake
spawn
up at
point.
10 years old in a 10-year-old body, let's do it. You know, like I'll give that a shot.
Yeah.
But like
We also-
to be 40 after dialysis and with 3 organ transplants, is like, how the hell did I get here? You know,
Yeah.
that sounds miserable.
Yours the horror story.
Yeah.
That's
Whose
terrible.
body
Yeah,
parts
it's like,
are
would you be
these?
happy
Like,
with your
did
life?
she know she was like however old she was, or did she think she was like?
She thought it was 1980, Jeff.
So she
So
thought she was
26?
however old.
Yeah, she'd lost those years. She doesn't remember having. Yeah. Since they're saying most times this only lasts for 24 hours.
And
But
how
she's
long
just
did
like,
that
oh.
Like,
She
think
still
about
suffers
her
from-
husband and her children. Like, that's gotta be devastating for them.
Yeah.
It's like you don't know your kids. You know,
Yeah.
like that's horrifying. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
it's scary.
I saw that face.
Again, like if you got to reset, you know what I mean? Like you're doing it for the first time, it's not gonna be so bad.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Who
right.
knows?
You would think.
yeah, but if if you got to do it all from the beginning, but like now you're playing catch up, so it's not like
And
Yeah.
you're kind of
it'll be
stuck.
fresh. It'll be fresh because now you're starting
No.
over because you're relearning it.
Jeff,
So, it'll be
think about it. Think about it. You wake up and you go, what the fuck? This is what I did? Like, you know, are you truly happy with what you chose?
how do you know
That's
anybody's
really
even
the
telling you the
question.
truth?
honey,
You know what I
they
mean?
got
Yeah.
he's
Sounds
gonna
like,
pull a
hey,
Dixie Chicks.
Hey, remember
Ready,
the time
ready,
you got
ready,
banned from the
ready,
zoo for
run.
fucking that rhinoceros? And it's like, what? It's like, you did it. I don't know. You fucked that rhino, so bad on you.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, holy shit, did I do these things?
I would definitely do that to any of my friends. I'd Photoshop the shit out of some photos.
Oh, I would too.
Fuck
But I
with
mean,
their
if it was
head.
you, that would be terrible.
But you know what? To wrap it up, there are some things that you just can't forget because they're recorded forever.
Mhm.
Oh,
Right on his
classic
ass.
Jeffrey, and that's why we have. That's why
Oh
we
my
love you.
god.
We love you. Thanks for joining us today, kids. It's been a hot one here in Australia. Tim's back. He's feistier than ever. Jeffrey just wants to press reset. Jeffrey's going to be like, who am I? Where am I? What's going on? I'm praying for it. All right, folks. We'll see you very, 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 very soon. Get ready to run. Bye.